Welcome back here on Indiana Sports Speed Radio to the Hard Truth Studios. Jim Coyle with you as always. Joined by Josh Bruick, the CEO of Hoosier Ticket Project, founder of such a great, I don't know if I should call it an organization, but first of all, thanks, Josh, for taking the time to join us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Jim. I appreciate it.
First of all, what do we call the Hoosier Ticket Project, HTP? Is it an organization? Is because I just not that it means a term. I was just
right
or something.
So we're an official nonprofit. Really started off as a passion project amongst a group of fans that obviously have a love for IU, Indiana University, and everything associated with it, and really wanted to try and get others that maybe don't have the means or are less fortunate or for whatever reason haven't been able to experience what IU's about athletically, academically, all that stuff. And so really started as a passion project pre-COVID. Then COVID happens and we decided to take some time and establish an actual nonprofit where we could accept donations from others and really kind of turn those resources into sending folks to IU sporting events. So fast forward 2.5, 3 years, here we are. So it's been a lot of fun.
Do you have an idea how many? I'm sure you do. I bet you have an answer to this question. How many people have you sent to games total?
Oh, well over. It's got to be a couple thousand at this point. I mean, we had a total at the end of last season. I'm remiss on what it is, but we've already sent a bunch of folks to football games this year, well over a couple hundred. So it's growing by the day. So yeah, it's a lot of fun though, right? I mean, it's a number that consistently grows throughout the athletic season, starts with football into basketball. So we're really, really proud of it.
Well, as you should be. I don't know. I'm sure maybe it's somehow of some form this exists someplace else, but I'm not aware of that. So it's very unique, first and foremost, and very cool because they work with different groups, places like the local Big Brothers and Big Sisters and Boys and Girls Clubs here, and they are taking over 400 people to the Indiana-Washington game this week, a game in which College Game Day is going to be there. So that's even a bigger bonus for these guys, Josh.
Yeah, it's this is our third annual. We call it Weekend at the Rock, third annual, and we had the idea really before the season started. Historically, the first two seasons, the first two times we did this, we did it really early in the year, right? September game where it's an opponent that, a non-conference opponent, might not be a big name opponent. We had the idea just because of the, we've got a great group of donors. We had a big day of giving leading up to the event. Well, we have the Callahan Family Foundation, which is a large donor of ours, and they've been incredible to us. Ramped up their giving this year to allow us to invest into sending 400. This is double the amount of kids we've ever sent, kids and families that we've ever sent, but they allowed us to invest into a Big Ten game this year instead of a non-conference opponent. And little did we know, leading into the season, I mean, we all had hope, right? New regime, new coaching staff, all the excitement that comes with that. But little did we know that fast forward a couple months, we'd be in a situation where the Washington game would be sold out, game day would be there, and we're fortunate enough to be sending 400 deserving fans, youth, families to the game. So we're beyond thrilled about it. We hope that it's an experience for these families and kids that they won't forget. And ultimately, what we're trying to do is not only give them an opportunity, but also help create, lifelong fans, the next generation of IU fans. And whether we can change their lives by becoming a fan or maybe eventually attending IU, we're just thrilled about everything that's led up to this point, and being able to send them to a sold-out Memorial Stadium is really exciting.
Oh, absolutely. And for more information about the Hoosier Ticket Project, just visit HoosierTicketProject.org or just email info@HoosierTicketProject.org. That's pretty easy to remember, people. And also, first-time fans may still request tickets to the Washington game, which is crazy. This thing is sold out, but these are for people that have not been to a game, may not be able to have the means to get to a game, especially families with kids. It's spectacular. You guys still have some tickets left to hand out?
We do. Yep, we're getting a limited amount, right? So we really try to qualify each request at this point and make sure that it's one that matches what we're trying to do. Our mission, obviously, you just mentioned it, is first timers kids, whether it's not having the financial means or just not having, a ton of different stories. We receive all sorts of stories. So we really try to qualify them and get deserving folks down there. So we do still have limited number of tickets. So if you're interested, like you mentioned, just hit our request tab on our website and we'll be in touch.
Again, that's at HoosierTicketProject.org, HoosierTicketProject.org/request if you want to get specific. And what an apropos time, because I can't even get into the craziness that is Indiana football right now, because that may lead us down a road that I can't come back from for a while, in a good way, because there's a lot to talk about, which actually it's been great, because normally we're scrambling for basketball content about this time of year, and that is no longer the case. Basketball is definitely on the back burner for me personally. I love what's going on here. I'm not going to say I expected, College game day to be here this weekend and all that's going on in that regard. I did have confidence that this team was going to surprise a lot of people. I expected him to start 6-0 and then probably 8-0. But we're going much deeper than that, and being around the program enough that it was palpable that a change had taken place, and listening to Kurt Signetti and seeing what he does, how he does it, his coaching staff, it has been, I've yet to have someone come to me, because I'm like, I do not know this has to be in the portal era, so it's not that long, but of a change, a turnaround in a program in the history of football. Of course, prior to the portal, you can't really count that. We wouldn't be having these conversations quite with the fervor we are now. Had this not been in the portal era, he couldn't turn it over quite that fast. I think that he would have still turned it over. But the fact that he's been able to do it this quick is it's turned everybody's life upside down, but in a positive way. Again, selling out Memorial Stadium 4 games in a row, I don't think that's ever happened.
It's, and I think I can speak to years past, right? We're entering the back end of the Big Ten season and we're drowning in ticket donations and to a point where we're struggling to find enough homes for them, when we're working our butts off to make sure we get as many folks as we can. But season ticket holders are they're making the decision not to attend the games because of the season going south or whatever reason. And this year is a true testament when you look at, the amount of donations we're getting. And I love to see it, right? We invested in our Washington tickets well before the month of October. So we were sitting good there, but we're in a position now where if you want a ticket, you've got to get it on a secondhand market, and you're paying, 3-4 times face value. And we're not getting as many donations from season ticket holders, and understandably so, right? It's an exciting problem to have. It's a good problem to have. And the other side of it is we're sending 400 folks. How do we help them out to park, right? It's parking around the stadium is challenging as well. But again, these are all good problems to have. We're excited because the environment they're going to be able to experience is one that I think is going to, these are core memories for these kids, right? They're going to remember going to a sold out Memorial Stadium. They're going to end up eventually as adults wanting to take their kids to experience the same. And that's what this is all about for us. But the difference between what we're seeing this year compared to the last couple seasons of our existence is night and day. We are, we're having to ask for tickets to try to fill requests instead of drowning in ticket donations and trying to find homes for them. So really, really exciting times, and exciting times to be an IU football fan.
Absolutely. And you've got to give a shout out to all of your ticket donors, first of all, that they find the goodness in their heart to do that instead of giving it 100%. Or selling them. And they could do that easily, 100%. Especially right now. You think it's hard to sell an Indiana football ticket today? I don't think so, people. And so, yeah, the parking is an issue, but that's a great problem to have. You may have to get a bus. Just bring a bus in from someplace and drop them all off.
Yeah.
But
you make a good point, though, Jim. You make a good point. I do want to thank our donors are incredible, right? There are, and you mentioned it. I mentioned parking. We still get parking passes, and when you go on to StubHub or SeatGeek and look at the prices of parking passes,
$300, man,
easily could be selling those. So our donors are incredible. Not only the Callahan Family Foundation, but our continuous ticket donors who, without even thinking twice, come to us with those donations. We try to share the stories, share the photos, but incredible group of donors. I've got an incredible team that helps me. Allie, who you know, Sarah, who has been really she's made this event happen from a boots on the ground standpoint down in Bloomington with her just a couple days ago, and we're packing bags and packing tickets and dropping them off in Bloomington. And then Jason behind the scenes. We've just got a great team who makes this thing tick. It's not just myself who's sometimes the face of the organization. We've got a lot of great volunteers who make this happen. So combination of great donors and great volunteers, and here we are.
Well, yeah, it takes a group to do everything and do it right. And shout out to Allie for helping make this happen. Thank you, Allie. She's a listener, everyday listener. We appreciate you tremendously. But yeah, it's fun to see this happen, especially now. I mean, if they've never been to a game and they're going to these games, they have no idea what most Indiana fans have had to endure with Indiana football. Right. And so it's crazy to see, but this atmosphere that's going to be this Saturday is going to just be, there's no other way to say, but just off the chain. There's never been an atmosphere like there's going to be this Saturday. You've got College Game Day. You've got the 1979 bowl winning team being honored, of which Lee Corso was the coach of. I'm sure that he'll be out there with them being honored. You've got Pat McAfee, Nick Saban. My big question is, where the hell are they going to put the kick for Pat McAfee, the contest? Well, I don't know, because they're putting the stage in the same place as the Fox Big Noon kickoff was. Not a lot of flat grass anywhere for that kick.
It's true. They have moved now. So we've got and I'm glad you mentioned that, because we've got a tailgate tent. We had one last week, or I had one in the general same area. It was over there by B-Town Boulevard, which was kind of in the same area as Big Noon kickoff, but they are moving us over to 17th and Woodlawn, as well as B-Town Boulevard, to give all that real estate to game day. So they are clearing quite a bit of that real estate over there. It looks like it's going to have a much larger footprint than Big Noon kickoff. But if anybody's interested in coming to see, I know Sarah and I will be there. Probably have a couple more volunteers over on the corner of 17th and Woodlawn. We'll be there kind of hanging out. Obviously for our recipients that are attending the game and needing assistance, but also we invite our donors too to swing by and see us as well. We'll be over there and they can come say hi and learn more about us and talk to us. So 17th and Woodlawn, we'll have a tent over there on Saturday morning leading up to game day. So we'd love to say hi to anybody that's in the area and has time to stop by.
Yeah, please do that, people, if you get the opportunity. And more importantly, if you are a season ticket holder and you find yourself in a position of not being able to attend a game, well, now you know exactly what you should do with those tickets. Do not sell them. Give them to the Hoosier Ticket Project so they continue their great philanthropy with bringing people to these games. And then you follow this up. Football is going to be not only an incredible lead into basketball. Basketball is going to have a hard deal to follow after what is going on right now, because we don't know where this is going to end. I think that this team is going to wind up in the college football playoffs. I truly do. I think that they're, at worst, they go 11-1, but I'm not even sold now that they cannot go into Columbus and beat Ohio State. They have a top 10 defense and they have a top 1 offense. That's a great combination to have. And I think they have I think they're better on both sides of the ball than Ohio State. And I know that that's going to sound crazy to people, but I'm just going by stats and what I've seen so far. But we'll see how that works out. But this week, the game against Washington, that should be a fun game. You've got Taven Jackson going in at quarterback. I don't think that there's a lot of drop off here, because Indiana's offense is so multifaceted and has so many dimensions to it that that's why they've been hard to stop. But I think this is going to be another big win for the Hoosiers.
Yeah. I mean, I've been, experiencing last week and everything that's transpired this season, and, being an IU football fan for, I've been going to games for, 25 years and have seen a lot of highs and, well, even more lows, I guess you could say. There's been, I think what we've seen this year and what's yet to come this year, I think a lot of it's going to be icing on the cake, right? I mean, we've seen things this year I've never seen in my fandom, right? Just what we've been able to do outside of, maybe the COVID year where fans weren't even allowed in the stadium. So this has been really, really rewarding for myself, a lot of the people I know that are IU football fans. It's just, I think we're just taking it a week at a time. And, I think it's just where we're at, right? I think, and what Coach Signetti, comes in with the confidence he's come in with, everything just feels different. It feels different when you're down there. It feels different. The vibe down there, the attitude at the game, hearing him talk, it just feels like something I've never experienced with Indiana football. And it not only does the team feel confident, but it also gives you confidence as a fan that like this, we've got a chance every week. And not only do we have a chance, I feel good about winning every week, like you said, Jim. So just really, really exciting. And just, obviously being associated with the project, I'm just excited too, because it creates such a tremendous experience for our ticket recipients. Not only myself as a fan getting to go, but also getting to send a bunch of people and not sending them a game where it's, a blowout loss or something like that. These are fun, memorable experiences for our recipients. So that's really, really rewarding for us as volunteers in the project.
We don't have a lot of time left, but how did this idea come to be? I mean, it's a great thing, no question. But somebody had to think of that. I'm assuming it was you.
It was, but it took a village, it took a team, it took all of the goodwill of Hoosier Nation. And you go back to 2018, I want to say it was Archie Miller was the head coach. Indiana had a rough season. Indiana had a rough, I want to say it was either year 1 or 2 of his tenure. They had a rough season and they made the NIT. And with that, they were allotted 2 NIT home games, 2 or 3 NIT home games. And Assembly Hall was general admission, $15 tickets. And I had the idea on Twitter at the time to just throw it out there that what better way to, obviously we know it's tough to go to games at Assembly Hall, right? A lot of it's taken up by season tickets. You're not just going to buy tickets and go unless it's on the secondhand market. So this was an opportunity to buy some tickets as a regular Joe at $15 a piece and throw it out there. Hey, if you've never been, I'll send your family, right? So $15 tickets, you can send a family of 4, for $60. And, it was just kind of my way of giving back. And a bunch of people just kind of jumped on board and like, I want to do the same thing. I want to do the same thing. I want to do the same thing. So, through that rough season, it stunk as a fan, but the rewarding part at the end was, and we've got a couple home games where we can send a bunch of people that have never been able to go. And it just kind of grew off of that, right? We went into a football season where kind of the same thing was happening. We'd get some tickets from season ticket holders. We'd buy some and send some folks. And then Jason, our COO, came to me and he was the one who kind of had the idea of turning this into a nonprofit, right? And we've had a lot of help along the way. We established a nonprofit. Myself, Jason, Amanda started the org back in the day. And since then, we've grown to what it is today. We've got some new volunteers, some new faces, but the mission remains the same. We were a little bit idle through COVID, obviously, but then once that was over, it ramped up. And now with the good teams that we have, it's grown into what it is today. And now we're sending 400 kids.
That's amazing. And congratulations again.
Thank you.
Folks, if you again, you still might have a shot at getting a ticket if you meet the criteria. Just reach out to Hoosier Ticket Project.org/request, or just go to HoosierTicketProject.org and they will get you taken care of. Josh, I cannot thank you enough, man, for taking the time to be on with us today. And hopefully we'll see you out there on Saturday. It is going to be an absolutely spectacular, fun day for all Hoosier fans.
Thanks, Jim. I appreciate the time, and go Hoosiers.